Hello everybody, this is Dee from Dee's Cute and Crafty, and we are making 4 fall crafts today. You're going to need a glue stick from the Dollar Tree. You're going to need some of these pallet signs, which I was so happy to find, some of their wooden words or sayings. That leaf came from Joann Fabrics, and I have some scrap wood pieces. You're going to need some acorns. I put these in a bag, but I found these on a nature walk, so they are free. And you're going to need some of this beautiful paper from Hobby Lobby and some jute cording. I will also be using the antique wax from Waverly and my homemade chalk paint in the color buttermilk. So I'm just going to remove the tags and put some hot glue down the center of one of the signs and get those glued together. And to make sure they stay glued together, I'm going to use those wood pieces to attach to the back to help it stick. Just doing a little cleanup. Some of the hot glue, of course, seeped through, so I'm just going to clean that up before I paint it with my buttermilk chalk paint, front and back. It's always nice to have a finished project when you can. In case somebody flips it over to look at it, it looks nice and neat all the way around. Now I'm going to distress it with the antique wax just a little bit. Then I'll go in with my gator and soften it up. I love distressing everything. If it's not your thing, I'm sorry, but I love it. I love when things look old and weathered and well loved. Now I'm going to cover this leaf with this leaf craft paper from Hobby Lobby. And I don't know why I thought, I'm going to trace around the sleeve. That is so unnecessary. So I'm like, Denise, what are you doing? No, just cut out a big enough piece of paper to cover the leaf and then go in with your glue stick. Get that leaf covered in glue, lay that paper down, cut the excess paper off, and then go in with a fingernail file and get in between all those nooks and crannies and corners and crevices, and it comes out sharp and beautiful. You guys know I can't live without making a bow, so we're gonna make a bow out of this jute twine. It just sets it off, you guys. I love it. I absolutely have to have a bow on almost everything. Now I'm going to get this leaf glued to the palette with my wood glue. We're going to go in with the long-term, short-term kind of process with hot glue as well and get it glued down. And I used way too much glue, you guys. Way too much. I don't even know what I was thinking. But here we go. And I'm not going to put that leaf on straight. I'm going to turn it just a little bit. And now we got to clean up the glue because I used too much. Gonna get my little acorns glued down. I thought this was a nice touch, especially since they were free. And now I'm going to go in with my furniture pin in the color walnut from Dollar Tree and get this Hello Fall all colored in. I love using these on natural wood. They absorb so nice and they dry instantly. Just going to distress it a little bit using that buttermilk chalk paint. Now I'm going to use some of that leftover twine and make a hanger for the back. I like doubling up and tying a knot on each side. And I'm going to glue that down. And then I didn't show you on camera, but I did go back in and put a couple staples. I put a staple on each side right where the knot sits to make sure it holds. And there it is. On to DIY number 2. You're going to need that same glue stick from the Dollar Tree, some scissors, a pencil, some beautiful craft paper from Hobby Lobby. I am loving their pumpkin craft paper. So pretty. You're going to need some of the vinyl transfer, or not vinyl, the transfer letters from Dollar Tree, some more of my free acorns. I'm just going to use the caps, some of these pretty wood leaves from Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, and some of these houses from Dollar Tree. Just going to trace around the house so that I can replace the paper that's inside. I couldn't get that paper out, so I'm just going to cover it. And I cut the house out. It didn't really fit. I struggled with this a little bit. I cut it again, just trimmed it down. It still didn't fit. And then I finally just smashed it inside. Yes, I did. I just smashed it down inside the house and then pulled it back out and cut where it was too big, because then I had an indentation or a marking to know where to cut. I don't know why I struggled with it, but I did. Okay, another struggle. You guys, learn from my mistakes. Please, please, please put your transfer letters on your paper before you put the paper in the box. It is so much easier that way. And use your transfer tape. People, please, because I didn't do any of this stuff. And I struggled with this craft, unnecessarily so. But it's still pretty in the end. But oh my gosh. Just gluing on a couple of these cute leaves, wooden leaves from Hobby Lobby. I love these. Blessed Beyond Measure had a viewer send her some, And I said, oh my gosh, those are the sweetest little things. I've got to find them. And lo and behold, I found them at Hobby Lobby. She didn't know where they came from. And I saw them at Hobby Lobby and I snatched them up. After I get the leaves glued down, I'm going to go ahead and put on one of these adorable little acorn caps. Love it. Screams fall. Oh, I love this season, you guys. I love the colors. So pretty. Now, as an afterthought, I went in with some twine and I wrapped the bottom of each box or each house, because I realized I wanted to use some more of my acorns. I wanted to use some of the little Dollar Tree pumpkins, and I wanted to use some of these really pretty felt pumpkins from Hobby Lobby. So I did the twine to give it a little bit of fencing, sort of, to hold in those items. And that just really did it for me. It made it perfect. So it was worth the struggle. You guys, there's no bow on this one. What? DIY number 3, you are going to need some white chalk paint. You're going to need one of the Dollar Tree paint or furniture markers, a repurposed metal leaf from one of the Dollar Tree pumpkins, a little bit of boxwood, one of the Dollar Tree pumpkins, some more of the wording, another one of their pallet signs, the Dollar Tree orange paint, and my ribbon came from Joann's, and I'm also going to be using the Waverly wax in antique. So just pulling the sticker off the back, and I'm going in with my homemade white chalk paint. This is just really going to make a little cute palette sign to lean on one of your tiered trays. So I got the sign, the palette sign painted, and I also went ahead and painted the pumpkin. Now again, if you've not seen my channel, this paint from Dollar Tree is good paint. I really like it, but I altered it. I turned it into a chalk paint by adding talc to it, and I made it darker or richer by adding burnt umber to it. So I made it what I wanted, and I love it the way it is. So I got that painted. I've put on some of the antique wax onto the pumpkin, and I'm going to go ahead and soften it up. And now I'm going to get it glued down. I'm also going to turn this one a little bit to the side. I don't want it straight. So you'll see me turn it in. There we go. Turning it to the side. And I am going to go in with my furniture marker in the color, I believe, maple or oak. And then I made a bow. And I made the bow, of course, because I like them, but it also gave that metal leaf something to attach to. So I just tucked the coily end of that metal leaf into the ribbon once I tied the bow. And it's going to give it something to stick to when I glue it down. doing a little cleanup. And now I'm going to add in some little pieces of greenery using that boxwood. And I got this from Walmart. Then I had this little sunflower just kind of sitting around from another project, and I thought, what the heck? Let's put that on here too. It's going to be cute. So here we go. And then because I felt like with everything I put on top of it, I began to cover up the ribbon. I just made another loop and tucked it in so that I can get the ribbon back. I needed to get my bow back. I covered it up, but then I fixed it. And it came out so stinking cute. It is cute on my tiered tray. DIY number 4, and this is just an extra little toss in that I decided to do at the last minute. So I have some, my buttermilk chalk paint. I've got some Mod Podge. I have a twig from my yard and one of the Dollar Tree cubes. I've got a beautiful napkin from Hobby Lobby, various ribbons, and this home sign from the Dollar Tree. And it's one of those topiary home signs. And I thought, what can I do with this? I bought it and I knew I'd do something, but I wasn't sure what. So I'm going to start out by cutting it apart. I cut all of the pumpkins apart. Please be careful doing this. I didn't get cut or anything, but just be careful. Know where your fingers are at all times. And then it snaps. There we go. So I did that to all of the pieces, and then I went back in and trimmed the bottom the way I wanted it, gave it a little bit of indentation so it looks more like a pumpkin and it doesn't just sit completely round. Be careful on this part as well because I wanted that paper off of there. I wanted it off. I wanted it off. So it took me a minute. I went in, I did it off camera. I went in and I just worked it till I got it off. You don't have to do that. You could absolutely just cover it, but I wanted it off. So here it is. I got it all off of there. And you can still see the shiplap lines, or I guess it's shiplap. You can still see those lines, and I wanted to be able to see those very clearly so that when I Mod Podge my napkin on it, I can go back in and push those lines down just to give it some definition and dimension. But this napkin is so pretty. I will be using these napkins next year on everything. It's just so pretty. You guys, yeah, I went in with my finger. I know. I could not find my sponge Dollar Tree brushes for anything. And I don't like to use any of my good brushes. I like to use the sponge ones and I throw them away. So yeah, the finger was the next best thing. And I got too much Mod Podge. I know. It's okay. It's okay. It's just crafting. This is also going to be cute on a tiered tray. And it, again, is like the other one. It's just a leaner. Now we're going to clean up a little bit. There we go. Change out the grit on my gator because we are going to sand down the edges of this napkin and it's going to come out so crisp and clean. I love this. And now I'm just pushing in the paper to get those lines back, but then I figured the ruler would be better, less chance of ripping it. So I'm just pushing it down with the ruler, and it came out really nice. These were so much fun and so easy to do. Just simple, easy, and just really fall festive and pretty, and I enjoyed doing them. I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you're enjoying this content. And if you are, please give it a big fat thumbs up and consider subscribing. It is free. It costs you nothing. And I would just love to have you as part of the Cute and Crafty family. Leave me a comment, you guys. Let me know which one was your favorite. I can't choose. I just can't. So I'm distressing it with, I can't talk, distressing it with some of my buttermilk chalk paint, just a little bit to give it that aged look that I love. And we're going to put a bow on it. We're doing a messy bow. It had to happen.